guys, it's Jessie. Welcome back to my channel, welcome back to another video, and welcome back to another 24-hour readathon. These are some of my favourite videos to do because I get through a good chunk of my TBR, do a little bit kind of like slight mood reading, and I do think we get through a lot of books in these videos. So for this one I'm going to be doing the timer method. I'm going to be stopping and starting my timer whenever I am and am not reading, so we'll go over the course of a couple of days, maybe more so like a week kind of, I can't lie. I am filming this after having completed the readathon, but I kind of went into this with the aim of finishing some books that I had maybe started with videos that I had since scrapped, finishing hopefully my October TBR, and then I ended up filming this ever so slightly into November, so maybe starting on some books from my November TBR as well. So I know I love to watch 24-hour readathons, so I really hope you guys do enjoy, and without further ado, I think let's get straight into it. It has been a full 24 hours since we spoke, but I am in the same place. Yep, I have moved since, I promise. So yesterday evening I did some reading, and then today I had work all day, but I finished work now and it's the evening, and then obviously we have the weekend to read too. Timer wise, I am up to 4 hours and 45 minutes, and that's spread across 2 books, which I'll talk about now, obviously. First things first, we have Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. I am pretty much bang halfway through here now. I'm on page 200, so ever so slightly over halfway, but I am really loving this. I thought I wasn't going to enjoy this as much as her other books, and I don't think it's quite as good as like Love Theoretically, which I loved, but I'm not normally a fan of spice at all. Like normally I'll just kind of skim it, but this one, the spice in here I think is really good. Maybe I love a spicy book, like this is fun. And also I was worried that it was going to be all that, but we've only really had 2 spice scenes so far and we're halfway through, so I really don't think that's like overdoing it or anything. But in this one we're following Rue and Eli, and Rue works at this kind of smaller company where they're working on a bunch of like biofuel stuff. They're scientists obviously, and basically her specific works on like kind of making produce last longer, and Eli's coming in from this like big, I think it's like an investment type firm or something, and they're trying to like buy Klein out or something, but there's like something suspicious going on with like the owner of Klein, who's like friends with Rue, and Klein's the company they work at, by the way, and it's all seems a bit suspicious, and like she thinks Eli's like a bad person, but like he's kind of probably not. We're gonna find out, but like who knows, I'm only halfway through. But yeah, they are just like super attracted to each other, and yeah, I'm really loving it. Eli is down horrendously bad and I absolutely love it. He is obsessed with this woman, and I'm obsessed with him. I love him. He's an excellent book boyfriend, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm liking the writing. I often have found Ali Hazelwood's smut scenes quite cringy, but this one I don't think it is at all. And she says at the start that it's an erotic romance. I was definitely thinking it'd be a load more spice, but I'm very pleasantly surprised with the amount, so I'm enjoying that. That hasn't taken up all my time. Obviously I'm only about 200 pages, so for me nearly 5 hours, that would be very slow. I have also been listening to Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. I'm so far through this, but I was already halfway through when I started this video, so I don't want you to think that this is like 2 hours 45 of me listening. I was on page 300, which was pretty much bang halfway through. I was initially reading this for another video, but then I scrapped that video, but I did still want to talk about this. I am now on page 465, so I read like 165 pages in this video, and I'm really enjoying this one too. Not as much as Not in Love, but this is a fun time, and I've been listening to this, like I said, a lot on audio. In this one we are basically following Kel and Connor. Connor is the prince of this kind of like fantasy town kingdom, I guess. Kel is like his sword catcher, which is basically kind of like a bodyguard, kind of like someone who was almost like a body double type thing, stunt double type thing, just I guess for like events where they think he might be at risk. Firstly, he looks a bit like him anyway, but he's able to have like this kind of magic amulet type thing that basically makes him appear to look like Connor. So we're following them as they're kind of like navigating things, and we also follow Lynn, who is like from this kind of magical race of people who are kind of discriminated against, but she's got some kind of ties to Kel and to Connor, and she's starting to get involved with them, and there's some kind of other stuff going on with maybe like a kind of criminal underworld type thing. And I would say for the first half of this I was like, nothing's really happened, but I'm not like not enjoying it, but I felt like it was very slow to kind of build up, and I don't think it's a strong action book, at least not at this point. We've definitely kind of just been slowly building, getting to know the characters, but I have been really enjoying it. So yeah, it's definitely a slow one. It's a slow build up, and I don't think a lot has like really happened. It says, but as Lynn and Kel sink deeper into like the criminal underworld, they uncover an extraordinary conspiracy. As long-kept secrets unravel, they must ask themselves, can forbidden love bring down a kingdom? And will their discoveries plunge their nation into war and the world into chaos? So that hasn't really happened yet. So I don't know when that is going to happen because I'm this far through. So yeah, I definitely think it could have been a bit better pace, but like it's enjoyable and I'm liking it. So I'm not going to finish that one off right now. I'm going to kind of focus on Not in Love because I do want to read physically. And I think I'm probably just going to sit down and finish this one this evening. It's like 7:43 now. You literally can't see it all, but I promise you it is 7:43. So I've got lots of time. Should definitely finish this evening and then maybe make some more progress in Swordcatcher as well. So yeah, I'm trying to find more and more camera angles where I don't have to get out of bed, but like at what point is this where I should probably be stopping? So I'm pretty much horizontal right now, but I have actually finished up Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. Guys, I love this. I went in, I think, with reasonably low, not necessarily low because I do like Ali Hazelwood's books, but just like not particularly high expectations, and I was so pleasantly surprised. I think a lot of the time with the marketing of it being like an erotic romance, I think that's actually underselling it a bit because there's a lot of emotion here. Both the characters have gone through a lot in their lives and I really felt like a connection between the two of them. Obviously there is a strong aspect of their sexual chemistry and their sexual relationship, like that does play a prominent part in the book. It's definitely got a lot more sex scenes than her regular STEMness novels, but I don't think having more of those took away from like the emotional connection that I thought the characters had, and that was something I was a little bit worried about because I do like to kind of have more emotional depth in my romances. But I really enjoyed this. I'm obsessed with Eli. I love that man, and I loved that we didn't particularly have like a full third act conflict type of thing, and I just really liked the way that everything went down. I really enjoyed it. So I gave this one a 4.5. I'm so happy with it. So yeah, it sits above Bride and Check and Mate for me, but then below like the core three like STEMness books, and that sounds about right. But yeah, really like this. Very positive vibes from me. And yeah, I pretty much just binged that. I am on 6 hours and 41 minutes. It is like 20 to 12 and I'm not like planning on staying up super late, but I do think I want to get a little bit further through Swordcatcher. I don't think I'll finish it tonight. I think I'm going to like put on the audiobook. I need to really like tidy up my room, and I feel like when I work during the week it like just gets super messy and I'm too tired, but now like for the weekend I don't want to have to be doing that tomorrow morning. So I'm gonna put my headphones on, tidy up my whole room, and also like get all ready for bed, and then I might read a little bit of this, but I might go straight to bed. I'm not sure, so we'll see. But I will at least listen to part of it by audio, and then I'll definitely finish it off tomorrow. So that is the loose plan, and I will catch up with you maybe not tonight, to be honest, if I'm super tired, but definitely in the morning. Hello, it is a couple of days later now. I got a little bit unexpectedly busy, so I did pause this readathon for a little bit and now I'm picking it back up. It's been about 2 days since we last spoke and I read a little bit in that time, so I have added that onto the timer. Now we are up to 11 hours and 40 minutes and I have a lot of good updates for you guys. So first things first, I did finish up Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. I decided to end up giving this one a 3.5, I believe was my final rating. I can't quite remember, but overall I did enjoy this one. I definitely kind of think it picked up a little bit towards the end. I was definitely getting more intrigued. Yeah, I gave this one a 3.75 actually. I definitely kind of enjoyed the world. I enjoyed that we were setting up a very entertaining series, and I did like the characters. I think I was kind of expecting Lynn and Kel especially to cross over a bit more than they did, but I think we were definitely following two very distinct storylines, and like they crossed over occasionally but not overly, and I definitely think this was way too long. I definitely think we could cut out at least 100 pages, if not more. I don't think a ton of stuff actually happened to warrant a story this length. I get that we were setting up, but the world building wasn't extremely heavy. It wasn't like a completely like unique fantasy world or anything like that. I did like seeing the characters, but none of them like stuck with me enough to kind of again warrant this much writing, and I don't think we kind of saw very much of the plot whatsoever. I really don't think it was like plot heavy, and that's kind of the reason why it was so long. I did like the ending. I definitely think we set up well for kind of where the story's going to go in kind of two separate Lynn and Kel kind of like, not timelines because they're the same time, but you know what I mean, like strands of the story. Though I did find a lot of the time Lynn's decisions, I didn't quite understand why she was making certain decisions. She kind of makes a big decision at the end that kind of sets up for where the story's going to go. I really didn't understand the purpose of that. That kind of didn't make much sense to me. I understand that that's probably going to be explained in the next book, but I feel like maybe I should kind of have an understanding after this much of the book of like why she's acting the way she does. She has like a reason for most of her actions, but that I don't feel like that would really explain why she did what she did. And the thing with Kel, kind of his kind of story trajectory that we kind of set up here, is something that I thought was kind of something that's going to be set up in the first part of this book, and I don't understand why it needed to be dragged out. I feel like maybe if this was initially planned to be a trilogy and then it kind of got extended to 5 books, this feels like kind of what would have been the first book has now kind of been spread out across what could be like 2 books in the future. So yeah, I did enjoy it, but just a little bit like long and repetitive and not super plot heavy, and I didn't care overly for the characters, and that's something that normally would bother me, but it didn't here for some reason. I did quite enjoy it. And then I picked up Chasing the Boogeyman by Richard Chismar, and I'm actually about halfway through now. This is the little cover. I just took the dust jacket off. This was on my October TBR, so I'm very happy to be getting round to it, and I'm now at that awkward time where I have now filmed my November TBR, so I may be picking some books off there as well. But I'm really enjoying this one. This could definitely be like a high 4. In this one we are following Richard Chismar, so he's kind of a character in the story, and it's written as if it is a true crime novel, but it obviously is fictionalized, and that's one of my favorite kind of ways of storytelling. We're basically following, he's finished college and trying to be an aspiring kind of like thriller horror writer, and he's moved home before he like gets married and moves out. And in the summer that he's moved home in like 1980 or so, there's a serial killer that starts killing girls in his small town, and he's kind of trying to a little bit figure it out, but also kind of just documenting the events. He's not like kind of taking on the role of the police. It's very much like he's just kind of finding out like what the police know and stuff like that. So it's not like he's leading his own investigation, but it's very interesting the way it's been put together, and I really like it. And we also have pictures, which I think is so cool, of like the town and like, you know, like police kind of like images of them doing searches and stuff. I think it's really, really cool. So I'm really enjoying like having the pictures as well. They're at the end of every chapter, and I feel like I get excited for the next chapter so I can see the, like the pictures from the previous chapter. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. I also listened to a tiny bit of another audiobook, but I'll probably talk about that in a bit because I literally got like 15 minutes in when I was just walking into town and stuff, so I won't talk about that now. But yeah, I believe the time is correct. I believe we're on 11 hours 40. I did leave it running at one point for I think it was about half an hour, and then I did half an hour of reading of this without timing it today, so I think we're back up to where we should be. I'm also going to be counting this as a book read because like I know I only read half of it, but like that half was 300 pages, so I feel like that should count. And I'm hoping to get to maybe like 18 or so hours today, hopefully. I'm excited to just kind of like get a lot read, see kind of like more so how much I can read in 24 hours rather than like challenging myself to stay up, because that's just like never gonna happen. That sounds about right for the timer. Probably gonna sit down and finish this one off now. I am really enjoying it. I'm probably about 60% through. I'm like nearly on page 200. I think there's about 300. I have one strong suspicion, but like I really don't think it would be that. I feel like that would be a bit obvious, and besides that I don't know really what to expect. So yeah, really excited to finish this one off, and I will go and do that now. Hey guys, sorry if the angle is a little bit poor, but I am nice and cozy on my little blanket, and you can see my laptop in the mirror, and I'm about to settle down to do some more reading. I did have a shower, wash my hair, I also cut my fringe, which was very much overdue. I think I never notice how long it gets, and then I cut it short again and I'm like, much better. But now I am cozy, I'm in my comfy jumper, I am ready for a good evening of reading. I, timer wise, am up to 14 hours and 39 minutes, so we are like a little bit of a decent chunk through. I did say I wanted to get to 18 hours. Not sure how close we're gonna get, but I do have a couple of updates. First things first, I did finish Chasing the Boogeyman by Richard Chismar. I decided to give this one a 4.5. I love this. This was so good. I love the writing style. I love kind of any fiction that's told as if it's true crime. I think that's one of my favourite genres. I had such a fun time with it. I really connected to the characters. I really liked the kind of perspective we were reading from. I loved the inclusion of pictures. I thought that was so good. And the reveal at the end I really enjoyed. It definitely shocked me. I was very surprised, but I do think like if you are, I don't know, trying to guess. I never try to guess because I feel like I enjoy being shocked. If you're trying to guess, I don't think it was like entirely out of the realm of possibility that you would be able to guess. So that's kind of my favorite type of twist. I hate ones where you wouldn't have had any chance to guess anything. I just thought this was really, really excellent. There is a lot of like his own life in it. The kind of entire setting is pretty much where he grew up. Obviously like the events are fictionalized, and he kind of discusses that at the end in the author's note. But yeah, I thought this was really, really excellent. I thought it was a really fun time. I believe I heard of this because it was in the Goodreads for horror recently, but it definitely isn't a horror book. It's definitely a mystery. There's no like supernatural aspect. I know it's called The Boogeyman, and people like maybe raise for a second that it could be a like dark entity or like supernatural force, but like it's very much known throughout the whole story that you're looking for a serial killer. But yeah, I thought it was excellent. I would definitely highly recommend it. I've not heard too many people talk about it. I actually picked it up because it was on like the clearance sale in Waterstones. I got it for like £5. So I love this one. Really, really great. 4.5. I definitely think it's like a very high 4.5. It just didn't give me that 5-star vibe, but like I don't know, it was just something wasn't quite there. But like on reflection, I definitely think that maybe I could up it. But yeah, really, really excellent, and I really enjoyed it. Then I was kind of deciding what else to read. I had started the audiobook for Out There Screaming previously. I got about this far through. This is the audiobook that I've been listening to after finishing Swordcatcher, and honestly I'm not enjoying it very much at all. I don't know why, because I just read a couple of pages physically and I definitely found it more entertaining. It's a short story collection, so I'm on the 4th story now, I believe. But yeah, all of the other ones would have been a 2 or 3, and I don't know whether I'm just not enjoying the narration style. We are changing narrators for every story, which maybe I'm not gelling with or something like that, but I do think this might be like an audio DNF, and then maybe I pick it up physically at another point. But I don't want to carry on reading this because I was thinking, well, I can just listen to it. Like, it's not that difficult to listen to an audiobook, but I was like, I don't want to. Like, I look on my like library app and I think there's so many books that I already have like reservations for that I would want to read way more than this. So yeah, unfortunately this is soft DNF for now, but just like the audio copy. And then I did start reading as well Where Sleeping Girls Lie by Farida Abike Yemedi, and this is on my TBR for the month. I got about 45 pages in. I don't really fancy reading this right now. I don't know why. It was definitely gripping, fine. It was like a YA mystery, so I'm very excited to pick that up eventually. But I kind of just fancy a romance, so I think that I am going to pick up Powerless by Elsie Silver on my Kindle. I'm very excited for it. I've read the first 2 in the Chestnut Spring series and really loved it. I have read a couple of pages of this already and I really enjoyed it, so I think I'm going to really like it, and I'm really excited to just read it this evening. I think it's a little bit longer. I think it's maybe like 400 pages or so, so I don't know whether I'll finish it off this evening, but I'll definitely have a fun time reading it, and that is the plan for the rest of the evening. So I will listen to my little instrumental lo-fi playlist, and I will very much enjoy reading my little romance book. So yeah, I will catch up with you later this evening, and I'll probably have made a good dent into Powerless. Hey guys, it's the next morning. I've got a little bit of a clingy cat here, so sorry if you can hear her purring. She's a little bit noisy, but I wanted to give you an update. I did read quite a lot of Powerless actually, and for the timer I did briefly leave it running, so we're going to ignore that. I believe I left it running for like an extra hour and a bit last night by accident, and then I did realise. So it says we are on 17 hours and 55 minutes. So I did read for an additional hour this morning, like without having the timer on, and I'm hoping that we are kind of like up to where we would be. In Powerless, I'm actually up to like 81%. I'm actually really far the way through, and this has been like a really quick read for me. Obviously, like I have still been reading for a decent while, but like I feel like it's just been very readable. So yeah, I'm on page 388. And I'm really enjoying it so far. Obviously I'm like nearly done, so I've really enjoyed the whole thing pretty much. But in this one we're following Sloane and Jasper, and this is the 3rd book in the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. I'm liking it, not as much as Heartless but more than Flawless so far, so that's pretty good. And yeah, in this one we're basically following Sloane, who's kind of meant to be getting married to this guy, but like he's like a bit of a prick, and it's more so to like make her dad happy in terms of like a business arrangement, I guess. And Jasper, who is kind of like the almost like adopted brother. He's like kind of just like their very close friend that kind of moved in with them, but is kind of like an adopted brother of the Eaton brothers, and they're Sloane's cousins. So they're like not cousins, but like they've spent a lot of their childhood together and stuff like that. And basically Sloane's been in love with him the whole time, but like thought that he never liked her back because I think he's a little bit older, but then eventually they discover that they do like each other, and I'm enjoying it so far. I definitely think I was enjoying the first half more, where they were kind of pining after each other. I think just before the halfway mark or so, we kind of start to get more of them romantically, and I just feel personally like we jumped very quickly from like, I have no idea if they like me, I have no idea if he likes me back, to straight like dominate you in the bedroom, and we're having like full on page, like multiple page sex, which was kind of a lot. I forget, I think, how long Elsie Silver's sex scenes are. It's not something that bothers me like in general in books, like I'm not an avoider of spice, but like these ones are just so long and a bit repetitive, like pages and pages, and it's just a little bit boring. I do find myself after the first one I'm very much skimming it, so that has dropped it down a little bit. I feel like they've jumped very quickly into a sexual relationship, whereas I think maybe if you've been friends for so long it might be a little bit slower. I don't know. So yeah, I am enjoying it. It's probably sitting like a 3.75 at the moment, but I'll definitely finish it off now. Sorry if I sound a little bit nasally, obviously I do have a cold, but yeah, I'm just gonna finish it off, sit with Willow because she's looking very cute today, and yeah, I will catch up with you when I finished it off, and then I probably need to read Where Sleeping Girls Lie, even though I kind of want to pick up another easy breezy romance. Okay, so angle not good, lighting also not particularly good, but my book is pretty good. So I've actually been reading Where Sleeping Girls Lie, and I am enjoying it so far. I am on page 190, and I feel like I should be further through, but like this is such a long book. It's what, like 560 pages, so I know I've got a lot more to read, but I am enjoying this so far. We're basically following Sade as she has started at this new kind of boarding school, and by her second day her roommate has like gone missing, and they're trying to like figure out what's going on, and she's kind of teamed up with her roommate's best friend, and they're basically trying to figure it out. And yeah, it's very intriguing. I definitely think at the start maybe I wasn't quite feeling it, but I am really enjoying it now. I definitely feel like when I do pick it up, I can pick it up for like long periods of time, and I do think it reads pretty quickly, because I don't think I've spent all too long reading this so far. I also did just accidentally let the timer run again, but now I think I've made up that time. I think I let it run. Luckily it was kind of like only just over an hour, so I just did just over an hour of reading again, and I'm pretty sure we're right on time again, and we are on 19 hours and 34 minutes. So we've got what, 4.5 hours left to finish this. Like I think maybe we could do it. It might be quite tight, but like that's what, maybe like 350 pages in that time. I think we should be able to do it. Maybe not tonight because it is like 8:30 and I do have work tomorrow. I'm so shiny, I'm very sorry about that, but yeah, I'm really enjoying this so far. I think the writing is very easy to read. It's reading, like it definitely feels YA, but it doesn't feel like a kind of dumbed down YA mystery as well, which is something I do find can happen a little bit. I do find sometimes they can be a bit formulaic, but this one definitely doesn't feel that way. It's definitely feeling like definitely a maturer YA than like maybe, you know, One of Us is Lying or something like that. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far, so I'm excited to keep going with it, and I really hope I can finish it in this video because that would be very satisfying, and I'm very pleased about the speed and readability of this as well. Morning. So yesterday I ended up finishing up Where Sleeping Girls Lie by Farida Abike Yemedi, and I did enjoy this one. I think my enjoyment was definitely stronger in the first half more than the second half. I'm debating between a 3.5 and 3.75 for this one. The mystery I thought was definitely quite interesting, though I felt like it did kind of devolve into a plot that was kind of one that I feel like I at least have seen a lot in a lot of YA mysteries, and it felt a little bit slightly contrived in a way of like, is this really like how people are behaving? Not in terms of kind of like the baddies or the bad person or people or whatever, but more so in terms of like just the other people around them and stuff. I did like the characters in here, I really liked them, and overall I really liked the writing style. I found this super quick to read. I feel like I was reading like 100 pages an hour. I was genuinely reading so fast. I used to read a lot faster than I do now. I think maybe I'm just kind of like getting back in the zone or whatever, but this is a super long book and I definitely feel like I got through it super quickly. It's genuinely like 560 pages, which is absolutely insane for like a YA mystery. I definitely think it doesn't need to be this long at all. I think we really could have cut this down a lot. I think certain scenes could have been edited out. I feel like 150 pages of this probably could have been cut, to be honest, but overall I did like the writing, I liked the characters, as I said, and yeah, it was like a fun mystery. I would recommend it. I definitely think it's better than other YA mysteries series I've read, like One of Us is Lying and stuff like that. I definitely think it's kind of better written YA and maybe like more, I guess, thought out. I don't know, it just feels like slightly, not necessarily mature YA, but it definitely feels like time has been spent on this book, if that makes sense. And yeah, overall I thought it was a fun read and I definitely enjoyed my time with it. It was just kind of around this point, I guess, I was kind of like, okay, like I feel like we knew the resolution of the mystery kind of further from the end than I would have wanted to. I would have wanted it to kind of wrap up a bit quicker, and we were kind of like trying to get it to wrap up for at least like over 100 pages towards the end. But yeah, I don't think the kind of like reveals were surprising. I think everything was like reasonably expected, but then I guess maybe if you're like 16, you may have felt differently about it, because like obviously I have to consider that YA is for a younger audience. I don't think I've ever been like shocked, like proper jaw dropped at a twist in a YA book, but that is fine. Again, I don't expect too highly, so yeah, 3.5, 3.75, definitely a fun read. I would potentially look up trigger warnings for this though, in case you are like sensitive to certain things, because it does have some slightly darker themes. So for the timer, I got up to 23 hours and 11 minutes, which is so annoying because I'd rather have kind of like finished this or got like this far from the end at 24 hours, but I kind of have to start something else, and it would make most sense for me to continue on without their screaming, but I just don't want to. Like, I really don't want to. So I decided to pick up Divine Rivals for the next 50 minutes or so. I did get a little bit of the way through this. My bookmark is in page 44, but I think I might have been slightly further through. I was listening to this via audio, but I wasn't particularly enjoying the audiobook, and I felt like I would enjoy it more physically, so I did kind of, I guess, soft DNF the audiobook, but that was just because I thought I would enjoy it, like reading it physically, so I wouldn't even put it on the DNF radar. I'm just going to start from where I did have my bookmark in, just because I did read it via audiobook a little while ago, so I can remember a bit about the setup but not tons. I don't feel like I need to give a synopsis. This is a very famous book talk book at the moment, but it's like just a romantasy with like two journalists that are like rivals kind of writing letters to each other, and I was meant to read this for a booktuber's favourites vlog from 2023, so I feel like now that we're in October and people are doing like 2024 favourites, it's a little bit late for me to post that, so we've obviously scrapped that. This is the readathon or the scrapped videos, I think. And yeah, I'm excited for this one. It's been on a few TBRs, so I think it will be a reasonably quick read. It's only about 330 pages, and for some reason I think it's YA, I'm not sure, so I think it might be a reasonably easy read. So I'm going to read this for 50 minutes today, and then we'll be done with the readathon. And this was a really fun one. I feel like we've read some really fun books. Hey guys, so we have now finished up the 24-hour timer, as you saw. I got a little bit more of the way through Divine Rivals, and I'm now up to page 115, so I'm definitely kind of enjoying this. It's nothing crazy, but it is definitely an enjoyable fantasy. I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to finish this off, because I've got a lot of video plans now for the rest of the year, but hopefully I do get around to finishing it sometime soon, because I am enjoying it. But just from the way that my videos are going, I really am doing a lot of reading, and I don't really have time to finish this one off, unfortunately, right now. It's not a DNF or anything, but I'll probably read it hopefully at some point in December, but it doesn't feel like a story that I like will forget. It seems like quite a simple fantasy based story, so yeah, I am enjoying that so far, and that finished off our timer, as you saw. So yeah, this was a pretty successful readathon, if you ask me. Normally I do like to hold up the books, but I've kind of shelved them all already and I don't want to go back through, but let's just kind of do a little recap, going through all our ratings, everything we read, because I think it was a pretty successful one. I know it took me a few days, but I'm happy with like the amount of books that we read. So first things first, we read Not in Love, which I think I spoke about quite a lot. I really was pleasantly surprised by this, and I gave it a 4.5. Then I finished up Swordcatcher, which was good. I don't necessarily feel the need to buy the rest of the series, but I do think I might listen to them as they come out, so that was like a 3.75. Then I read Chasing the Boogeyman, which was a really pleasant surprise. I really enjoyed this one. It was kind of on my 5-star predictions, but I was slightly tentative about it because I didn't know what the writing style would be like, and I loved this one. This was a 4.5, and I found out it's a series, so I'm very excited. I believe that the second book is hopefully written in the same style, which is kind of what I enjoy the most about it. So yeah, that one was really great. Then we read Powerless by Elsie Silver. I give this one a 3.75 as well. This one was very good. I definitely thought that we kind of jumped from friends to lovers very quickly. I would have kind of liked a little bit more of a slower like adjustment period, if that makes sense. Like, they were friends for 50%, and then as soon as they decided they weren't going to be friends anymore, they jumped straight into like full relationship kind of effectively, which I thought was a a little bit abrupt, but I did still enjoy it, and I think in terms of the series it goes heartless, powerless, flawless for me, but I am really excited to read the last two. Then we read Where Sleeping Girls Lie, and upon reflection and talking with my book club about it, I've decided to lower this to a 3-star. I feel like a lot of this plot felt very contrived. I feel like a lot of things didn't make sense and kind of didn't add up towards the end. I don't think things were very well explained, and it just felt a bit ridiculous. Also, it was way too long, and I feel like a lot of it could have been cut because we spent a lot of time talking about certain people and like talking to people who had absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with it and like never came up in the book again. So it just felt a little bit, I don't know, like a bit underwhelming, and I feel like the kind of entire reveal, not only did it feel a little bit outlandish, it also didn't make sense, and part of the reveal I think as well changes how you kind of reflect upon the character's actions previously. I won't say too much, I'll just leave it there, but I think through that it kind of creates plot holes, and I don't understand a lot of the character motivations after figuring that out. So yeah, unfortunately I didn't enjoy it all too much. The only reason it's not in the 2-star is just because I enjoyed the reading experience so much, and I did enjoy some of the characters, and I was definitely enjoying my time with it, so I decided to give it a 3. And then finally, like I mentioned, we did read a bit of Divine Rivals, and this is probably high 3, maybe, I have no idea to be honest, but only this far through. But yeah, it's a pretty successful readathon. I really hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, don't forget to give it a like down below, hit subscribe and turn on the bell to join a little club. Make sure you turn on all notifications, then you'll be notified every single time I post a new video. If you made it this far, leave a little like a stopwatch emoji down below, because obviously we did the stopwatch 24-hour readathon. But yeah, if you want to watch one of my other videos, there'll be 2 on the screen now to pick from, as well as they're linked up in the cards from earlier. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.